Now, kids, the things I'm going to say now, he told me not to tell you. So you can just shut your ears while I tell the teachers this information. And then later on, I'll tell you when you can listen again, okay? Kevin's a certified teacher, and he discovered that stories could be an effective teaching tool, and he soon became the first full-time high school storytelling teacher in the country. In 2001, he became a Fulbright scholar, and he was able to tell stories and conduct workshops internationally in both England and Japan, and where he developed cross-cultural curriculum, especially story-based work. He started the was then the Youth Storytelling Special Interest Group for the National Storytelling Network, and is also co-founder of the Youth Celebration. Now, kids, you can listen again, okay? Now, what he told me to tell you is that he dances with polar bears, he really tells big yarns, and that he once told stories with the lollipop kid from The Wizard of Oz. So I welcome Kevin Cordi.
It's wonderful to be here and celebrate all the writers. Give yourselves a hand as storytellers, as writers. It's great to be in this company.
All of you are creative geniuses. Turn to someone next to you and say, I am a creative genius. Turn to someone to the other side and say, in case you didn't hear me, I am a creative genius. And you are that because you create something out of nothing. You take an idea and you furnish it into a book or a tellable story. And I celebrate the fact that you're a creative genius. And so don't let anyone ever say that you can't create something out of nothing. Which comes to my question, who knows where stories come from? Tell me. From your brain, from people, from your imagination. Everybody on three, tell me. 1, 2, 3. All that is right. But in this story, there is a different answer. In the central part of Africa, there lived a man who was half man and half spider. He was the first Spider-Man, Spider-Man, spins a web. He was Kuuku Anansi. And one day he was sitting around, and even though he was one of the lowest people, the smallest in the African jungle, he wanted to be known for something. The lion was known for something. Everybody was known for something. He too wanted to be known. And so he listened, and there were a lot of people and animals gathered around. And one moment he was listening in, as only Kuuku Anansi could. And he looked around, and he heard all these people laughing. And they laughed, and they laughed, and they laughed. And then all of a sudden, it was quiet. And he listened a little more, and as these people were gathering around, they were crying. And after a little while, they began to laugh again. And they began to cry again. And laugh. Anansi looked. He said, what is that can make people laugh and make people cry all within the same amount of time? And one of the animals looked over and said, stories. Anytime someone tells a story, you never know how they're going to feel. And Kuuku Anansi said, I want the stories. And so he spun a great spider web, because he's the original Spider-Man. So you got to help me spin this spider web up to the sky god. Here we go. 3, 2, and pull on that web. And he climbed to the great sky god, who was as big as the sky himself. And Naomi. Said Anansi, you are so small. Why are you here? Anani, I'm here because I would like to have the stories. Anytime someone tells a story, I would like to have the credit. Surely you know I own all the stories. In order for you to have them, you must bring me 3 things. Mumboro, king of the hornets. Anani, the great python. And a Subo, the most ferocious leopard in all the African jungle. I don't know if I can... That's how you get the stories. And he went down, 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 down. And when he reached the bottom, he pulled up a dry gourd, a calabash, and he filled it with water. You can if you like. And he filled it with water. And he put it on his shoulder. And he climbed a tree. And when he went over to the edge of the tree, there was the hornet's nest. And if you've ever been stung by a bee, think of times 60 with a hornet. And so he took that water and he sprayed it on the hornet's nest. Run, Mumboro! Run! There's a flood! Run! You must run now! What's going on? And he came up. It was all wet. It's raining. What's going on? Hurry, run for the safety of this calabash. Right in here, the hole, right here. Okay, Anansi. Thank you, Anansi. Thank you. Zoom. And he took some dried grass and he put it in the calabash. And he said, I have my first. And he took Mumboro. Then he thought, how am I going to get Anani, the great python? And he went out and he cut a long bamboo pole. And he held it in his hand. Anani! Anani! And sure enough, Anani, the great python, was listening. And he raised his great head. And he said, Anansi! What seems to be the problem? Anani, you see, me and my wife were arguing, and she said that you were dumber and shorter than this bamboo pole. And I said, no, not at all. The great Anani is longer and stronger than this bamboo pole. I see your problem. Whatever will you do? He said, I have an idea. Why don't you lay side by side next to this bamboo pole? And I'll measure you and the more you're over here, the more you shrink over here. I'm going to take this vine creeper and I'm going to tie it to your tail so you don't move. But you're still moving over here. So I'm going to take this vine creeper and I'm going to tie it to your head so you don't move. I didn't say Anani was smart. And he had him. And then he had to think, how am I going to get a Subo, the most ferocious leopard in all the African jungle? And he thought, and he thought, and he thought. And then he went and he began to dig, and you can help me. You can make that noise too if you like. And he dug a large pit. And he hid behind a tree. Wow, what a tree, huh? And there came a Subo. And Anansi looked over, and a Subo looked up and said, Anansi, I've fallen and I can't get up. So, I don't know how to help you. You see, if I help you, then you'll eat me. and I don't want to be dinner. I promise you, I will not eat you. I will not harm you. All right. Well, I'll take this rubber tree plant, and I will move it. And there's a vine creeper at the end. Tie your tail to it, and I'll swing you free. Okay, Anansi. And so he took the rubber tree plant. Tie it! Hurry! I can't hold it! Hurry! I almost have it. Hurry! Whoa! Hurry! Oh! And a subo hit a tree. Whoa! He hit another one. Whoa! And another one. Whoa! And he was unconscious. And so they picked the subo up, II.mp4, and helped me with this. Spun a great spider web because he is the original Spider-Man. Help me climb. And he looked, and there was Naomi, the sky god, and he had all three things he asked for. He said, I brought you what you want. Here they are. And he took them. And Naomi lifted a great treasure chest. Took out golden orbs of light. And he handed them to Anansi. And of course, those were the stories. And so Anansi took his many arms and legs and he grabbed them and he held them. But the wind began to pick up. It blew Anansi. He couldn't hold on to all the stories, but the wind began to pick up. It picked up. It was large. And they flew. And some of the stories went north. Some of the stories went south, east, and west. And that's why we have stories all over the world. But Anansi was able to hold on to some. And to this day in West Africa and all over the world, they are still called Anansis.